when I come to a chat session, it's always sometimes you're trying to size up the opposition, so as to say. Well, the two ladies here, I've always been in awe of. I'll tell you why. Because many years ago, the path that so many are walking on today, the numbers path, the box office path, the lady who actually set the Olympic torch alive is sitting on my left over there, Vidya Balan. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And the lady who seems to have just torched every single platform, every single show, Shefali Ji, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you,
The two of you are like the heavyweights of the performance industry. Nobody can, it must be like nobody. It's true. When they come next to you, is there like it used to happen? I think it happens to some of us when we meet Mr. Bachchan. You feel like, do we measure up enough? Does that happen to you with performers also now? Have you noticed that in the last, say, 2-3 years that they come with their best foot forward? Ki, यहाँ पे तो six मारना ही है because we know who's in front of us.
Honestly, I don't see it like that because I'm only going there with, doing my last minute notes ki, oh God, they'll say action and I'll just stand there dumbfounded.
Really?
So I never get into that place where I can analyze what the other person is thinking because I'm scared.
But are you like lines till the end or
no, not
never?
lines.
But
like
just
I'll
generally.
tell you what I do is, which I started from DC because at Super when I was talking about it, that DC, every time I had a scene,
right,
I had to refer to the script from the word go.
Oh.
Because it's 8 hours of film.
Yeah.
So I make notes.
Okay.
So exam ke pehle
the Faraz.
ek pointer hota tha. So I make the whole synopsis in one line.
Wow.
At the end of each episode. So when I'm going to do it, I just have to go, this has happened, this has happened, this is the last interaction, that. So I have my notes, but what I'm saying is that it's not that. I'm just saying, how you go and study before, like you're paranoid before going for an exam, I'm like that. So I don't get in, I don't have the luxury of evaluating other people.
You're just being humble and modest. I think it works very well because it's just fantastic what the kind of run that you had in the last 2-3 years. And every time I meet Vidya, I just get so excited because I just feel like, when you watch this world that you created, and I will never stop saying this. Every time I meet you, I say this because are you like amazed that now every single film has sort of an equal audience? The audience seems to have become very smart about it. You've had like films released online also. People are directly in touch with you. Have you seen the audience evolve, or do you think that just because we have a huge population, everyone has access now, so it's okay?
No. I think the audiences have definitely evolved. But I don't know if it's... I think there are very different audiences for the theatrical experience and the OTT, and yet there are some who consume both.
Yeah, so, I'm one of them. I consume both.
Me too. So, I'm up for both experiences equally. So I definitely think the taste of that audience has evolved. Their appetite has really opened up. Because now they're exposed also to content from all over the world. So, for example, language is no barrier.
Yes.
And you're seeing different genres also using different treatments to tell stories. And I think it's fantastic. It's the best time for the entertainment industry because more than...
But does it make you nervous as performers also? Because now that 80% almost there doesn't work. Now they'll go rewind if they're watching online or, like you said, they've been exposed to so much. They have so much of a more informed or misinformed opinion, Now they're like cricket lovers. Everyone knows how to hit a cover drive now.
Correct.
So, is the जैसे बोलते हैं ना निगाहें ज़्यादा हैं बारीकी से ज़्यादा देख रहे हैं so does it make a performer like I need to like step up the game a bit?
No, I think it's just about the storytelling. If it has come together well, we'll leave you no scope to go back and make notes. But जब वहाँ खामी होती है तो, and there will be some people whose job it is just to poke holes. And that's absolutely. I'm not really worried by that audience because वो आप Godfather में भी नुक्स निकालोगे. हम क्या चीज़ है? So really, I don't get bothered by that. There's no pressure as such. Instead, I think everyone's upping their game anyway.
And actually, everyone's in the game now. But the beauty is that every actor has a piece of the pie. Directors and technicians. How is the industry now? Is it really as rosy as it's looking from the outside? सबके पास बहुत काम है, सब खुश हैं. Is that the case?
The OTT has really opened horizons for everyone. every creative person, and even otherwise, the kind of employment, and it's a long drawn employment.
Yeah.
It's not just a 2 mahine ki film hai, then again you're wondering.
True.
It's like one season, then you do another season, then you do another season. And the creative surge, because content is king. So from writers to music makers to stylists to hair,
Editors.
makeup, actors, editors, DOPs, everyone is thriving on this.
I know everyone's driving because they're shopping away like mad. If you live in Mumbai, if you see the kind of lifestyle, I know that the pandemic was very tough on a lot of people, but it also gave a lot of employment because almost everyone shifted onto that mode and they just realized it's a more convenient mode to, I think, just move the game forward. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but having said that, they say that on an average 15,000 come to Bombay to make it in films on a daily basis.
Wow.
So
we're
never going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, looking at the two of you all, there will be so many that will be inspired. And I know that unfortunately, every story cannot end with a happy ending.
Yeah.
And you all have also had like peaks and troughs and it goes up and down. And I remember there was a time when we met Vidya and there was back-to-back these massive hits and then one or two didn't do well. And I remember chatting with you and you also were a little shocked as to, I don't understand what to do. Yeah,
Exactly.
And
Not
now,
one or two. I had 7 films that didn't work back to back. But I feel so grateful that despite that, people came to me and offered me films. And films that excited me, not films which I just did because I needed to be seen or something like that.
I don't think we've ever done anything like that for that reason.
Yeah, that's right.
But translation, this film, first of all, I have to compliment the editors. I couldn't quite make out after the promo what the storyline was.
Yay!
Yes.
Which is almost impossible today because most of the film is in those 2 minutes, 40 seconds that people give.
I think also the Trigger Happy must be credited here for cutting
fantastic.
an amazing trailer.
Like, when you saw it, did you think that, there's a lot that they don't know? When you saw the...
Absolutely. Yeah. And there were some people who said random things also to me. वो पता चला उस scene में, and I'm like, scene दिखा आपको? Shorts दिखे. नहीं किया था. पर अच्छा है. People have their own theories, which is great for a film like this.
Also, it comes out online. I mean, have you been able to sort of reconcile with not having a box office? There's an immediate appreciation that can happen. Of late, last 3 months has been good. Box office, Gangubai is doing well. Now Kashmir Files is doing well. Whatever, box office wise, Now when you don't have that, do the views and do the streams or number of people, does that suffice?
The platforms obviously have the numbers and they give you a sense. They don't share the numbers with you, but they give you a sense in terms of a relative sense. This film was liked this much, but this film has been liked a little less, so that film has been liked a little more. So they have a grading system.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I think it gives you some sense, but importantly, people reach out anyway.
Yeah.
Except I've realized that on OTT, when films release, they don't reach out that very
Friday night you won't get a message. Yeah.
Friday night or Saturday or sometimes they sometimes
next week or 10 days or
much later, and they'll say, I watched it. And initially I thought, why have they taken so much time? But I've realized that's because you get busy with things at home.
And we don't have the convenience of watching it when they want to watch it.
True, and we're not really paying to watch that particular film at that time. I've got the subscription for a year. मैं 2 महीने बाद भी देख सकता हूँ. Which sort of is, it can be a little bit difficult for newer actors when they're looking for immediate, gratification. When you've been on the platform, has it been easy to switch back and forth? You do shows, series, films. Is it a mindset shift when you're doing a film? It's a normal film, whichever platform, doesn't matter. But otherwise, is there a massive shift now that's happening?
No, because I'm going to put in as much work. So it doesn't matter which medium it is. And as far as, I think OTT has been a boon for me. It has been a boon.
We've sort of rediscovered you with this.
So I am very grateful for that. And I have a bias towards it. Also, it's not like, I was donning posters and hoardings in theaters. So, I wouldn't say there's a shift in terms of how my approach would be towards a film versus a show.
Right.
Yes, the amount of, let's say, memory work that goes into a show is much more because you're remembering 8 hours of film.
Yes.
While, you can remember a 2-hour film and you can remember the trajectory and the arc and every moment of it, but that's not possible in a show when you're doing it.
True.
So to maintain that consistency, it's great in one way because it gives you that much more to explore and create a nuanced character. And at the same time, it also puts more pressure on you because you've just got to be on top of it because you may do episode number 10 ka scene first.
It's not linear.
But the audience is going to watch it and say, what?
Yeah.
So,
What a continuity nightmare.
You need you'll probably need an AD per actor. कि मैम आपका ना वो बहुत ज़्यादा expression हो गया इसमें.
I'm telling you, in DC, the first thing I would ask is what is the time? Not what is the time.
Yeah, in the show.
What is the time? Because we were counting from night one.
Yeah.
These many hours she's awake. So I go back and I track. Okay, last she had that coffee. That was her low. That was her high. That was a breakthrough. It was like.
But it showed in the show,
No, but congratulations on that. You deserve all the accolades for that as well. You've actually now, you're doing one a year, I'm at least seeing. Now, in this current time, do you feel the urge to do much more?
No, not really. I've been doing one a year for a long time now. But last year I actually ended up doing 2 because of the lockdown. A film I was supposed to do before the lockdown got pushed to later in the year, and I was committed to another film later in the year. So I ended up doing 2. And after those 6 months of relentless work, Jan onwards, I felt like I also got COVID. And I felt like, arey, मैंने बहुत काम कर दिया. But I like to do things at my pace. If something really blows my mind, and I feel like, okay, I can't resist this, and I will definitely do it. But otherwise, I'm happy doing one a year.
This, on the first read, did it blow your mind?
It blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. But I wasn't sure of doing it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Because I think... I think it was kind of Maya Menon seems morally ambiguous. So that was in every other character I've played. I think even when we've explored the grey side of the character, I don't think I really have. But a lot of people have said, but wo to grey character tha, So I'm saying from that point of view, I think none of them was morally ambiguous. It was very clear which way.
Which side of the law or which side of the humanity they were.
Yeah, absolutely. But here, I think therefore I was like, no, I'm uncomfortable with that as a person. I think therefore I said no. But the pandemic happened and then something shifted within me. And Monday I was chatting with Suresh and he was telling me all that he was working on. And I said, okay, I want to reread this. And I reread it because I knew I was ready for it.
Does perspective change a lot? Like, I know what happens even with audio. When you say it out and when you hear it back and then you hear it back again, suddenly you just don't like it anymore, what you thought was a brilliant take. As actors, are you able to sort of separate perspective and, like the kind of work that you're doing and say, I liked it then, I may not like it now? It happens with your films as well, I'm sure.
It happens to me all the time, which is why I don't commit to more than one film at a time. So... And when I'm doing a film, I may know what I'm doing next. But if someone tells me we're ready to wait and we'll do a film after that, I'm like, no, because, I may not feel the same way about your script 6 months hence. It happens, right? Because you grow, you evolve, and God knows what state of mind I might be in.
So it's not a switch on, switch off thing for you?
No.
What about you? I mean, you're jumping from set to set sometimes. You're not following the adage of one a year. Are you able to switch on, switch off?
So all the years in my career, I've done 1 in 3 years. So I think I'm trying to catch up now.
Yeah.
But last year was the busiest I've ever been in my entire career.
Congratulations.
I've never done so much work.
Right.
And they were all projects I could not have said no to. Also, they would have been spaced out, but because of the second lockdown, they all piled up together. But not one of them would I have let go. So I didn't do it because I excel at the waiting game.
Yeah.
I excel at saying no.
Right.
I have a PhD in it, but I've never just said yes because I have to be seen or I have to work.
Yeah.
But it was just something I had to do, all of them, and I'm so glad, you know. It's very difficult. So I agree with Vidya because I've always done one thing and I give it all of me. What happened with the second lockdown is I got those 2 months to work on all the scripts.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, I would have gone crazy. Otherwise, I would have said I can't do it because I'm not prepared enough to do it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
And they're not exactly the same characters.
Not at
Your
all.
character in Jalsa is very different from what you've done for a while.
For a while,
Yes.
and from what is going to happen
Yes.
next, what will come next. So completely different. But I had that time to work extensively on each part and each script. Also, yes, while I was shooting for something else, in the evenings I would sit with Suresh because I wanted to make the most of it, you know. But I wasn't shooting them simultaneously.
Correct. Okay.
So I've slipped into this one character.
And then switched it off and then the other,
when I
yeah.
come and discuss something with Suresh, it actually is a breather for me.
Right.
You know, it's like you go back home and you watch TV to chill
Yeah,
or to unwind from the day or what you've done. So it used to be that. So I used to finish an exciting day of shoot and then come back completely new to something different.
So there was no
exciting.
khichdi at all.
So there was no khichdi.
Yeah.
I admire actors who go from one set to another. I don't know if I would be able to do it.
I know some are doing 2 in a day. They'll switch from in the morning and the evening, and I'm going to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but some of them just. I've had to ask this. Money is a very big driving force for a lot of actors also. Security, yes, and the pandemic made a lot of them a little insecure. They realized that the future isn't there for the taking. Will there ever be a driving force that the younger generation, yes it is, but do you think that was it ever a driving force for you, money per se, that I should sign this for that, I should do a little bit more for that, I should cash in on the success because you've had a lot of it also?
No, I love money. But
who doesn't?
Yeah. But no, I've never. I think it's something that my father has ingrained in my sister and me. That if you do whatever you do to the best of your abilities, money will follow, fame will follow, whatever it is that that profession brings you. But so therefore, I've never chased it.
Are you a hard negotiator when you sit down on the drawing board?
I have a team doing it.
Yeah.
Yes. I've gotten better.
You see, when you see these IPL auctions, there's a constant SMSs back and forth. Yes, no, yes, no,
Yeah.
no. Well, we've not agreed, What about you? This is in your family. I mean, negotiation and these kind of things. So who negotiates or who's the sounding board for you?
He's not the sounding board. He is the negotiator for me.
Okay.
I'm terrible at this.
So you'll just say yes for a friend and all.
I pay people money.
Oh, really?
I say, please, ye paise lo mujhe cast kar do. Money has never, so I've never ever planned my career. Never. This will be right for me. This will be good for me. I need to be seen. I need to go here. This is the money I'm supposed to ask. Except never.
But for an actor, don't you measure your worth? Like, if you have a producer come and say, I think you deserve this. That's good. Thank you.
I've never met one producer who said that to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Baman sir once told me, Vidya Chopra came and gave him an extra bonus check.
Wow.
And he said after Munna Bhai, he said, no, what I've given you I think is very less. I think you deserve a little bit more.
It is true because I also got a bonus check from Vinod Chopra and he's the only producer who's done that.
Oh, well.
In my career so far.
Unfortunately, that is the only story so far.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Were you pleasantly surprised or were you shocked?
Yeah, also because, I was on a 3-film contract with Vinod Chopra Films.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get paid for Parinita. And I'm absolutely fine. He gave me Parinita, And he paid me for Munna Bhai and Eklavya. But the decency of the man, I didn't even know you get bonuses and all that. But he called me and gave me a check. Yeah. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. I think it's probably the only instance.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody gets bonuses as such.
Yeah. And I think, I love Vinod Chopra.
Yeah.
I respect him for a lot of reasons, and this being one of that, because he really, I didn't know any better. Forget Baman and all.
Yeah.
I was so new. I was just happy that he had given me Munna Bhai also and Ekla Bhai also. But he called me and gave me a check.
So there you have it. You know, sometimes ignorance is bliss in this case also. Because if you go there expecting certain things, then there'll be a problem. This film, I think, like for me also was ignorance, because I said, wow, I never go with preconceived notions also, and I haven't seen it yet. Of course, by the time this interview comes out, this will be on the anvil, you'll be able to see it. But the director here is completely in charge of the ship, you know, and he knows everything. When you all were shooting it, did it feel like a little special, a little magic happening there? Did you feel, or because you all are not shooting together, you all don't know the whole story at that point, how
No,
it's
but
going
we
to
have
look?
a few scenes together.
Ah.
And it was an absolute joy to work with Shefali.
Yeah.
You know, because I've admired her work since the time I joined television, because I have to also tell you that
Yes.
before that I'm from a South Indian family. I was not allowed to watch much. So it coincided with the time when I joined television.
Right.
But that was amazing. And I think Suresh's process is just very unique. So he works, Shefali was saying this earlier in the day, he loves his actors. He gives us whatever we want. So in terms of prep, I remember he did 6 or 7 narrations for me, because I love the way he narrates, right? So it
was forming in your head.
Yeah, because you know, then I could visualize it. So I didn't even have to, I would read the script, but he narrated it so many times. He's constantly evolving his script. So with every change, he was reading it out to me. With any change in the script, and it was just, you see the film in front of you, and then there's music that he uses in his narration that he's created specifically for that film, or at the narration level.
Wow.
And then that process is just, he pushes you out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it gets, you know, it gets like, because there are so many pressures, right, on a set, and sometimes I'm like, Suresh, no, I can't. But you know, he pushes you till you give it your best.
Thank you guys for joining us. Jalsa it is. When you see these two ladies perform, I think it's always going to be perfect. So leave your, how should I say, your critique pens outside and just watch it for the love of it. I need to keep telling people, just watch cinema for the love of it. Don't always go looking for something in it. Let it just come to you. Take care, and thank you so much for joining us in Star Storm.